Now,
on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. Good Thursday morning to you and yours. Michael Pelka in for Larry. And Mercedes Schlapp is here. And she's like multitasking already today. You're amazing.
There's always a lot going on. Always a lot going on. But let me tell you, this song, it's the best. The Fever song.
Well, there's like 100 versions of it. You know, you had the original, you had Madonna's weird version of it. And well, I shouldn't have to add weird to Madonna
Beyonce,
cover.
though. I like the Beyonce version. This is good.
She can sing. There's no doubt. And speaking of singing, next hour, an hour from now, we are going to be singing important news to you as Stephen Bradbury from Heritage joins us. Distinguished fellow is going to talk about yesterday's Capitol Hill hearing, which was absolutely entertaining for me. And we'll get to that. And then 8:05, Liz Wheeler's going to be here, which is always fun. And even more fun, I'm sorry, I'm making myself joke. Does the fun ever set on this show? Kash Patel will be here at 8:35 today because his name was dropped yesterday in the hearing. And I'm sure he will have a lot of things to say about that.
Lots to say. Yes, that is right. God only knows that the FBI, they spent a lot of time targeting anyone that was associated with Trump. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even know where the cocaine is in the White House or who it belongs to. Just shocking. Just shocking.
Well, you know, I think we should place our bets on where it was finally officially found. We should get the layout of the White House, and then you put your dollar on which room you think it was found in.
So I got to just say, Matt, my husband, tweeted this out. It was so, he goes, it can't be Hunter. Oh, no, he said it on Newsmax. It can't be Hunter's cocaine because there would be nothing left.
Well, that's true. I think he's correct on that.
I know.
You know,
I
that's
know.
if it's most logical, it's probably true.
Yeah. But look, we were talking about fever. There is one type of fever that I don't understand if it's, you know, the temperature is so high that you're close to your deathbed, but it's one of these where it's ASA, the ASA fever, which Larry O'Connor loves to talk about, Mike. Loves to talk about ASA fever. It's his favorite thing.
Well, he tweeted out a photo from Asa Hutchinson's event in Nevada. And you can look at the size of the room and immediately say, oh, that's a bad sign. And then you look at the people in the room, the numbers, not the people themselves. I'm sure they're fine people. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and counting Asa, 6, 7 people in the whole room. Sorry.
That's, you know, I got to tell you something. You got to know when it's time to go. Like, don't even keep going, Asa. That's just a sign. I mean, I felt like I was in my COVID days where it was like the 6 people with the mask, and then there were circles where you're 6 feet apart. I mean, it looked so bad for Asa. You know, you almost feel sorry for the guy. So I don't get it. I don't get it. He's got to drop out. It's like these people that I don't even know why he's running, other than to say mean things about Donald Trump. That's about it.
Well, see, that seems to be a tendency of a couple of candidates. I certainly don't believe in his heart of hearts Chris Christie thinks he has a real chance. Or maybe he does. Maybe you have more contact with him. But it seems like Chris Christie.
Did you say I have contact with Chris Christie?
I'm just saying you may have had contact. You may have had contact with Chris Christie.
Please. Oh, gosh. No, thank you. No. But on Asa, he did put out a tweet back July 7th that there, at least that crowd in South Carolina, there was probably about 40 people there. And he tweets out, the enthusiasm was contagious. This was in South Carolina back on July 7th. So there's supposed to be enthusiasm for Asa. We're like, you're polling, dude, at like 1%. Like, get over yourself. Just
is he polling at 1%?
I don't know. I can't keep track. It's like
I think that's generous.
At this point. Probably.
Now he
let's
has
put him
to,
at negative numbers. Do you want to do that? I'm fine doing that.
Yeah, it might be. He might have a deficit when it comes to
Oh, there it is.
support.
Real Clear Politics national polling average for Hutchinson is, it doesn't even get to 1%. 0.8%. That's a bad sign.
So if you take a breathalyzer and you get 0.8%, you're going to jail. So you're legally drunk. So he might be drunk on political aspirations. 5,000 donors. He's not going to make the debate stage on August 23rd. At this point, 6 weeks away from that debate, the one on Fox News, the first one. And we still have to talk about whether or not Donald Trump will show up at the debate. Jason Miller, longtime advisor to Mr. Trump, said it's unlikely he will participate. And a lot of people are stepping up, including the aforementioned Chris Christie, saying, what are you, too chicken to debate here? Are you scared to debate? I don't think Donald Trump's afraid. But if you're handicapping this, would you bet on yes or no? Pick up your magic 8-ball. All signs point to yes or no.
I was talking to a former, he was Hogan Gidley. He was in the White House when I was at the White House for Trump. And I said, Hogan, what do you think? And, Hogan's like, well, he's not going to debate. I don't think he's going to go. And I was like, can't you just picture Trump doing one of these where he, walks in the last minute and, just walks onto the stage and says, I'm ready, I'm going to debate, last minute changes his mind to go in there and just, create the chaos, which I just could absolutely picture him doing. But look, he's in such a strong position. He has no need to debate, quite frankly. And I have to say, the problem is that when you look at, Fox, especially in the past year, there has not been, I would say, a fair treatment of Trump in the media with Fox, so it's very problematic for them because they're going to have to look. If Donald Trump is not in that debate, I don't know who's going to watch. Quite frankly.
Well, I have a crazy idea. I know you're going.
Oh, tell me! I love this. Is fabulous. Go.
I'm already in on the crazy train with Opelka, so you might as well buckle up.
Yeah.
So here's how you do it, and I think you're spot on. I think you're so right. Who's going to tune in if Donald Trump isn't on the debate stage? Fox hosts the debate, but Trump is the moderator. Come on, you would watch that.
I would watch
Let's go over to Chris Christie right now. Chris, I have a question for you.
Chris, you need to get on a diet. You need an exercise program. This isn't working. DeSantis, don't be so mean. I mean, people don't like you.
Stop copying
you can totally see it. That's why he has to be part of the debate, because he'll make it so entertaining. The reality is that Trump might be saying, look, I'm going to get on there, and everyone's just going to, they're going to try to kill me. That's going to be the target. I'm going to be the target the whole entire time. So he's going to have the moderators against him, and then he's also going to have the candidates all piling up. Now, they might pile up against DeSantis, because if they can take out, if Vivek can take out number 2, and then you've got Chris Christie trying to take out Trump, I mean, it could be pretty explosive.
Well, I think we've solved the problem for Fox in their debate, and we'll get into some of the other candidates. We will continue shortly. It is currently, though, 6:15, meaning WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes. First on the fives.
Later this morning on the Chris Plante Show, the New York Times reveals Joe Biden's workday.
Between 12 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
9 a.m. on WMAL.
6:17, O'Connor and Company, Sans O'Connor. It's Mike Opelka in for Larry this week, and thankfully, Mercedes Schlapp is here today. And Mercedes, we'll get back to the polling data, but just got these great shots posted from Larry. He's in Normandy, and wow, what powerful images he's sending back from France.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I mean, seriously, Mike, you and I were here. He's in Normandy. That's pretty amazing.
Well, he's doing his research work as a wine ambassador for the state of Virginia.
Heard.
Yeah,
I've heard. And
somebody's
he's claiming
got to
Virginia wines are better than French wines.
Well, sure. And why not? That's a good ambassador work there. We had been discussing some of the polling data, and one of the more interesting polls that I've seen is this favorability rating in this Harvard poll, the Harvard-Harris poll. Mm-hmm. And they did this last month, so it's not exactly the hottest poll, but they took favorable versus unfavorable, and they did the math on it. And there's a couple of surprises in here. But Robert Kennedy leads everybody at 21% favorable. And I have a reason why I think that's happening. What do you think is behind that?
Well, it's interesting because I have a lot of colleagues who are libertarians, independents, some folks who I know who are friends with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he really, he's the one who can actually almost bring together that coalition of the independents, the libertarian, these Republicans that want a different type of candidate, and even some even Democrats, obviously, because he's a Democrat nominee, and they all say, look, he was the one that was critical of Fauci. He's ready to take on the deep state. I don't agree with him on the climate situation. He's not pro-life, but he's such an interesting personality for folks out there who are just so disgusted by the political system and they want to see significant change. Obviously, the Biden people are going to knock him down because they don't even want a debate between Biden, who literally I think can't even put a sentence together, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who I think there's like an organic movement happening around him. Yeah, and he's very likable according to this poll. He's 20? He's the top one.
Yeah, he's 21% positive.
Positive, yeah.
And then, they've got Elon Musk in there, but, he can't run, people. We'll stop putting him in that list. It's not possible. He's also not a credible candidate. But Tim Scott's positive. Vivek Ramaswamy's positive. DeSantis is 5 points positive. Nikki Haley 4 points. And then we start getting into the negatives. And I find it amazing that the only potential candidate on this list who has really serious negativity problems is the one that a lot of people keep whispering about, that she's lurking, and that's Hillary Clinton at minus 17%.
17, right.
That number seems low. It should be in near triple digits, if you ask me.
Well, in unfavorability, they have Donald Trump at -3, along with Doug Burgum, who's the governor of North Dakota. Asa Fever, -7. With Mike Pence and Kevin McCarthy. And then Kamala's doing even worse, -10% unfavorability. Joe Biden, -11%. And -16% Chris Christie in terms of unfavorability. But then Mitch McConnell's my favorite, -24%. He's not running. But, no. He obviously has a strong position in the Senate, but this is an interesting poll.
Well, it's
you
interesting.
You would definitely be in the favorables. You'd be positives.
Well, thank you. Now get to know me, and that'll change quickly. I feel like this kind of points to Kennedy's role as a potential Perot spoiler for Democrats. And that, I think, is probably very worrisome for the party. And we need to get back to that, but I have to bounce us out of here. It is 21 minutes after 6 o'clock on WMAL. 6:27 on what might be the hottest day of the year.
Wow.
Here in Washington. I know, it's like a shock. It's the middle of summer, and it might be the hottest day of the year. That would really surprise me if it were January. And then I'd be shocked.
It's, for the climate activists, it's global warming, but you can't use global warming anymore. So it's just like climate change. You can't get it right. It's just too much.
Summer is chum in the water for climate activists. It's just.
I love the heat, but let me tell you, like my friends, they're down in Dallas. They were like, it's 109 degrees down here. It's bad.
And that happens in Dallas. I lived in Texas for 13 years. Guess what? Summers are hot, and then guess what? Winters are cold. It's kind of a wake-up call. It's Michael Pelkin for Larry O'Connor, and, of course, Mercedes Schlapp is here today. I'm glad you're here. We were talking about candidates and some of the fringe candidates in the GOP race and some of the unique and let's say creative ways to raise money. Vivek Ramaswamy has something. I haven't figured it out yet. Have you, Mercedes?
No, I was asking Heather because she's smarter than the rest of us, and she because I was like, well, how is it working out? My understanding, it's like you get 10% of like you donate and then you get 10% back or something along those lines. But I could be so it's a very interesting money scheme. But I think it's like a desperate. Vivek's is the most interesting one, I would say, like the most creative one. But like Doug Burgum, the one that's the governor from North Dakota, literally, I think he's trying to sell you, like say, no, these are the cards, right? Like that's the way
you
to
get
do
a
it.
bonus card. You get like an ATM card.
Yeah.
If you give $1,
There it
you
is.
get
So
$20.
Vivek is you can fundraise and make a 10% commission. That's what it is. If someone is going to make 10% of the money they would raise for me, it might as well be you. So I actually think his approach is smarter. Vivek.
It's so interesting. And we'll see if the election
It's
funding and
desperate.
financing people are worried
Desperate.
about it.
Yeah.
It is 6:29. More to come on O'Connor and Company on WMAL.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News now.
On News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
6:37 on a Thursday morning. Mike Opelka in for Larry O'Connor on O'Connor and Company on 105.9 WMAL. Trying to make sense of the news. Mercedes Schlapp is here, and in about a half an hour from now, Stephen Bradbury from Heritage, he's the Distinguished Heritage Fellow, is going to join us to attempt to make sense of yesterday's hearing with the FBI director getting grilled like a cheese sandwich, as we like to say. That's the technical term for what happened yesterday. But we were in the middle of discussing some of the unusual campaigns and campaign financing that are happening. And I just want to make sure we put a button on this, Mercedes, that we fully understand what's going on here, because I'm not sure the public is keen on some of these gimmicks that are going out there. So, like the governor of North Dakota, if you give him $1, he's going to give you a card that has $20 in value on it.
Yeah. And look, let's be real. On the North Dakota side, it's a desperate attempt to try to get on the debate stage, right? You're going to need 40,000 donors. You have to be polling at a certain percentage in order to qualify for these RNC debates. So this governor, who no one knows about, is attempting this gimmick, and he's a billionaire, and he can totally do it. So I think it's insane to try to do these fundraising gimmicks. At the end of the day, it has to be people who believe in your message, and you have to have the name recognition. And these guys that are barely polling, it's just I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Well,
they shouldn't be running.
Is it fair to say that he's an outsider who wants to present his policies and give us his policies? So why shouldn't we allow him to buy his way into the debate stage, or is that ignorant?
What, are you now a spokesperson for Burgum's team? I mean, come on.
No, I'm just saying.
Mike.
We know.
I don't like it. I think that it just shows like this really rich candidate who's trying to buy his way in. I don't feel that it's a natural way to do it. I don't feel that I think for donors to do this, for people to do this, is like, yeah, give me the $20, but it doesn't mean I'm going to commit to you in the long run. I know he's trying to get his message out, but there's many more effective ways to get your message out. That's not going to be, giving gift cards. It's like, what are you going to give next? A pack of cigarettes? Here, pack of cigarettes for my vote. Oh, wait a second.
That happens on election day. That's election day stuff. But you said it's natural. You prefer the natural method here. How is bribing someone to get into some place not a Washington natural occurrence?
Oh my gosh, you're really you're drilling in this topic. I just think, again, it's like I feel that there's other ways to do this, which is get your message out, and then if the people believe in you, they will donate. And this is just it's just artificial. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in the long run. We know Burgum is not going to go anywhere. Vivek now has he's so creative, and I think he is this positive warrior, and he's been able to break through. He's been smart. He's been going on TV, holding these events, he has endless energy, and so you have seen him move up in the polls for someone who is, not he is viewed as a political outsider. So I think, has had a more interesting way of fundraising, which is giving this 10% commission, which, as we know, when fundraisers are raising money, they do get commission. So I find that to be a little more interesting.
And Vivek has also done the work about getting out, as you've said, and getting in front of people. I'm not sure if all his policies, we don't know them all yet, but he's one of the people who's talked about raising the voting age to 21. Which is an unusual thing right now when most of the Democrats want to lower it to 16, like they're doing in Vermont, which it doesn't scare me in the least. I don't know about you, but no, I'm not worried about 16-year-olds voting. But some of the 21-year-olds aren't adults yet, in my opinion. But I'm interested to see where this goes, who will be on the debate stage. And if you weren't here about 20 minutes ago, we fixed the problem for Fox. We came up with the solution, since if Donald Trump sounds like he's not going to be at the first debate, I would like him to host it. I would like him to be the moderator.
So what are your thoughts? So we know Tim Scott's qualified. Chris Christie seems to have qualified for the debate. But what are your thoughts about Tucker Carlson? He's holding this forum on Friday where he's going to be interviewing the different presidential candidates. And interestingly enough, the one he's not interviewing is Donald Trump. But I know, obviously, Tucker's interviewed Trump in the past. What are your thoughts on what Tucker's doing?
I think he's a smart guy. And if he's going to draw heat in his new venture, he's going to need to bring in some of the candidates that will attract the base that the GOP is interested in. So I give him all the credit. And it's basically free press for him to get all of these campaigns to then talk about what he's doing.
Yeah, so I would have waited till it would be closer to the Fox debate. Like, I think I would have teased it out a lot longer. I think it was like rushed out, and they're like, oh, we're just going to do it Friday. And I was like, no. First of all, no one, by Friday, you're like, I got to go take a break. I don't want to do politics. Like, I would have done it a different day. I would have teased it out longer. Right close to the Fox debate. I think that would have been more of an interesting news story. But what do I know?
But isn't it able to be watched after the fact, because that's what social media offers?
Yeah, but you got to build the buzz around it. You got to give it some hype, in my opinion. Just a little more hype.
Let's see who he's got. And the lineup, it should be lesser known to better known leading up to it. We've got more coming on this, and as well as we're going to break down yesterday's big hearing in the Judiciary Committee with the FBI director. Right now it's 43 minutes after 6 o'clock on WMAL.
I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI does not and has no interest in
You won't answer the question about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is.
That moment yesterday, and it, by the way, it's 6:49 on WMAL, O'Connor and Company with Opelka, in for Larry O'Connor and Mercedes Schlapp here. Mercedes and I agreed earlier that Matt Gaetz was the sizzler yesterday in the hearing with the FBI director.
Yeah, I mean, it was like an Emmy performance. Talk about, the Screen Actors Guild, they're going on protest. They should literally hire Matt Gaetz at this point because he was just so on target. Now, of course, Matt knows that that Christopher Wray cannot answer that question because you have an ongoing investigation. But it is what Matt Gaetz does so perfectly is that he brings up this message between Hunter Biden and that text message. And it really brings to light the fact that this Hunter Biden quote unquote investigation from the FBI that's taking years to figure out what's going to happen to Hunter Biden shows the double standard between how the Trump administration was treated, how Trump supporters have been treated versus how the Biden family has been treated, which has been just slow walk everything, don't come to a conclusion. And, obviously when you see like this text message of Hunter mentioning his dad, it's very problematic for the Biden family.
And obviously that there's no excuse for what Matt Gaetz read from that text message, now verified text message. The only thing that would have been more perfect for me is Matt Gaetz reading the text message with the Godfather theme underneath it.
Ooh.
And reading it like, I'm sitting here with my father, and we're expecting a phone call tonight. This is what you should do. It was such a shakedown, and it absolutely deserved a little more drama, but he gave great drama, and I think he got under the skin of the FBI director. He's the first one that I saw really get the FBI director a little heated. And
a little heated. He was on the defensive posture. He just was so upset about it. But the reality is that Christopher Wray came in without providing a solution, without talking about, look, the FBI needs to reform itself. We've had these issues. We know the public doesn't trust us anymore. These are the changes we're going to make, as opposed to, well, yeah, there's hundreds of thousands of FISA inquiries that were surveilling Americans. We obviously, the Russia hoax, which was a complete disaster, completely targeting President Trump and his administration. Huge problems, Mike, where definitely conservatives feel like they're under attack. They're collaborating with social media companies. Come on. Where you're censoring information about Hunter Biden, it definitely sounds as if, they have taken this political angle and their target was always to destroy Donald Trump and to protect the Biden family.
And it doesn't feel like the fixes have made a difference, especially with the ongoing scandals involving the Biden family. We'll get into it with Stephen Bradbury from Heritage just around the corner. Right now it's 6:53 on WMA.